Hello everybody, and welcome back. Last time we defeated Poseidon and we finally reached the ancient city of Lemuria. And after learning a little bit about the place from the inhabitants as well as Lumpa, the famous thief, we are now going to speak with King Hydros and see what he has to tell us. So let's go to the palace as soon as possible. And we get back, we can finally listen to a very familiar tune, the palace theme that was far more prominent in the original Golden Sun because, well, there were far more palaces in that one actually. You are Lord Felix, correct? It would seem the warriors of which you spoke have arrived. So it would, your highness. I shall call them to us immediately. There is no need, Lumpa. Let us go to them. Hydros! Would you see me dishonored thus? They ought to present themselves to us. I do not go to present myself to them, Conservator. I am merely going to where they are. I have something that I wish to show everyone. Regardless of your reasons, sire, I will not go to them. Do as you will, Conservator. However, we shall go. I heard of your arrival. It is quite remarkable that you were able to reach Lemuria. Welcome. Allow me to introduce my companions. This is Sheba, Jenna, Felix, and Creighton. Creighton is the one who told me of the outside world's civilizations, of their condition. Ah, Creighton. Lumpa describes you as a remarkable scholar. Your research impressed us. Thank you, your highness. Your theories are correct. Our world is now on a path to destruction. And who has decided this? You, Hydros? Some civilizations have vanished, surely, but that is the way of the outside world. Look around you. Lemuria remains unchanged. Don't delude yourself. Lemuria has been in slow decline for ages now, but that can wait. My most trusted scholars have reached this conclusion after extensive research. I sent peers to confirm this for me. So you admit it, Hydros. You violated the directive of the Senate. You used the tidal wave as your chance to send peers away, despite our commands. You are incorrect. The tidal wave carried me away by chance alone. Conservator, you must know that the tidal wave was caused by Poseidon's return. Only a fool would have chosen to send a man to sea if he knew that this would have happened. What was it that you intended to have peers confirm? This map shows the ancient world, when Lemuria still traded with people on the many continents. It was a great age, a time when the world shined brightly. And this is the map Lumpa had with him when he arrived in Lemuria 150 years ago. I used this map to sail around the world. It is quite accurate. Incredible! You understand, Creighton. What do you understand? Well, unless my eyes deceive me, the continents have shrunk since the Golden Age. That's insane! It is not insane, it is true. Perhaps this will make the point more clearly. Look at these two maps side by side. There's no mistaking it. The continent on Lumpa's map are clearly smaller. Lies! Nothing but lies! What do you hope to gain from foisting these lies upon our people? You know well that I hope to gain nothing more than the truth, Conservator. And who do you expect will believe such nonsense? If you do not believe the evidence before your eyes, what do you believe? Do you believe the Lemurian map to be accurate to this day? Tell me, Pierce, you were able to investigate this matter, were you not? Thanks to Felix and my companions, I was able to travel much of the Eastern Sea. And what did you find? I found, in truth, that Lumpa's map is the more accurate of the two. However, the world seems even smaller now than it appears on Lumpa's map. What are you saying? Time itself has stopped. Think of the world as a living, breathing being, possessing its own life force. The four elements are the nourishment needed to sustain this being. Kraden, this is exactly what King Hydros himself has said to me. Ever since alchemy was sealed away, the world has been cut off from its nourishment. It has gone into a state akin to hibernation. By using less energy, the world itself prolongs its life. Yet, when hibernating, the being has only stopped its own clock, not the flow of time around it. When a bear sleeps through the winter, it needs only wait for spring to come. When it awakens, it can nourish its weakened body again. But if spring never comes, the bear will eventually die. The world is wasting away, its continents shrinking, because its spring has never come. Hydros, how can you make such outrageous claims? The world is not alive. Tell me, Conservator, why do you think Poseidon has returned? Do you have the answer, Hydros? The elemental lighthouses. Felix and his companions have lit the beacons on both Mercury and Venus lighthouse. What? Have you any idea what will happen if you set that evil loose upon the world again? You know that it could bring about the destruction of the world, and yet you did it anyway. My lord, you cannot possibly intend for these people to light the remaining beacons. I do indeed, Conservator, and I also fear the possibility that alchemy will destroy the world. But I cannot stand by, knowing as I do that the world will wither and die if we do not act. This is madness, Hydros. Does the threat of alchemy mean so little to you? Would you put the world in even greater danger to satisfy your theories? With only 2 of the beacons lit, I assume you intend to send Pierce out again? And I will go, Lord Conservator. Felix has need of my power. Then go, Pierce. But if you do, say farewell, for you will never be able to return. You will be banished from Lemuria forever. You know our laws. Are you prepared for the outcome? I myself am disgusted by the whole matter. I take my leave of you, Hydros. But I warn you, I will not permit you to go through with this madness. So he claims, but Conservato ends up doing absolutely nothing, so the threat right here is absolutely empty. What will you do, Your Highness? I knew this outcome was inevitable. But I could not sit silent while our world drifted down the path of its destruction. I want you to light the remaining beacons before you return. That's what we intend to do, but we cannot leave the Eastern Sea. I have already heard of this problem from Pierce. This is something I found by accident in some ruins back in my days as a thief. I am not sure what it is, but it seems to contain some powerful synergy. Seems to? You are not certain? It is a synergy that we Lemurians are unable to use, so that pretty much confirms that all Lemurians are either water adepts or simply not adepts at all. I understand you travel with many different kinds of adepts, do you not, Felix? If we include peers in our numbers, we have one adept for each of the 4 elements. Then at least one of you should be able to use the synergy that this contains. King Hydros believes the item can only be used by one who wields Synergy of the Earth. If I am not mistaken, it is a powerful synergy called Grind. If you master this synergy, the reefs that block your way shall pose no trouble anymore. With Grind, you should be able to create a path by which you can sail into the Western Sea. Go, brave adepts, by your hands may the remaining lighthouses burn bright once more! That synergy is quite powerful. It can only be trusted to a very few people. That His Highness has given it to you should illustrate how great his expectations are. I have no doubt that your journey will be fraught with ever-increasing danger, but we are counting on you, Felix. Alright, now that we got Pierce back, let's quickly get the new synergy here. And we got the Grindstone. And as we were told, only Felix can actually learn it, so let's quickly equip that. And there's actually one line of dialogue if you read King Hydros' mind that I want to quickly highlight. My people may not desire change, but I cannot let that stop me. I do this not for myself, but for all those yet to be born throughout the world. Alright, so now that we're done with that, I think it's time that I actually go over all the hidden items that can be obtained throughout Lemuria. And first off, we have right here a lucky medal, which will come in handy pretty much instantly, because soon we'll be heading to the lucky spring. But before that, there are a few. I want to quickly set up a shortcut for reveal, because there are a few other items. Not here, but right here, I believe. Yeah. So there's actually a lot of hidden items in Lemuria that are buried underground, such as a bone. So the point of the bone is to indicate that there are hidden items, and it is also completely useless because there's absolutely no use for it in this game. So there's no reason not to sell it right away. But let's go over the other items that we can actually find. Most of them you can actually find them near the butterflies that are flying above the flowers. So for example, right here we should find one. And we got a rusty sword. So let's quickly go over that weapon, shall we? The Corsair's Edge has an attack boost of 90, its unleash is called Lunar Slash, it deals 25 extra Jupiter damage, and it may reduce a target's resistance by 40. Alright, now that we are done with that, here we have a very rare sprout that actually grows down. So if we use growth, we can go further down, and right here we have a patch of weeds. So of course, if we use Cyclone, we have a hidden item, in this case a heart nut. Alright, there should be at least one more right here. Sorry, wrong one. We got a lucky medal, and I think there was one more near the palace that I actually missed. Somewhere around here, was it? Or I believe it was somewhere around here. Oh no, no wait, I think I remember, right here. Yep. And we got some Stardust. It's actually been a while since we got some of that. Anyway, now that we got that, and did I also get the I got the lucky medal. So, regarding the Lemurian Spring, this one was also present, although it worked slightly different in the original game in Tolby. And it is implied that the reason that Tolby had a lucky spring is because when Bobby first visited Lemuria, he was so impressed and obsessed with the civilization that he built one for himself, which makes a lot of sense for Tolby. It doesn't make that much sense for Lemuria to have a lucky spring, because, well, the people of Lemuria, as we have learned by now, are forbidden from leaving, and there are also no threats throughout the Sea of Time, at least until Poseidon awoke. But even before that, there were no enemies or monsters or anything, so I don't know why they would have a attraction or a minigame in which you can actually get weapons, since the people of Lemuria rarely traveled, or at least they don't do that anymore. And it's a bit jarring because of the tone. So the music of Lemuria pretty much evocates that, well, it's fairly somber and a very sad music, to kind of illustrate how this is an ancient civilization that, while advanced, is slowly headed for a slow death. All the people are without imagination, creativity. Life in Lemuria is extremely boring, and there's no advancement, and most of the people here seem like they would like to leave if they had the chance. And also, even though we are told about how the people of Lemuria live so long, the very first news that we get as soon as we arrive is that Pierce's mother unfortunately passed away. So it is quite somber. Even in Lemuria there is death. So I don't know why they decided that it was a good idea to contrast the somber music and the gruesome news with the happy, cheerful music of the Tolby Festival. But anyways, let's go over how the spring itself works. So you have two options. You can either throw coins, which is pretty much useless, but I'm going to show them anyway, and lucky medals. The turtle and crabs are basically used as obstacles that you have to find a way through by tossing the items at a proper moment. And if you bump into them, they speed up or slow down depending on how many times you touch them. Well, and as for coins, well, even if you get the best possible result, as if you land the coin at the very center, you'll only get 20 coins, so it's absolutely useless. The real point is to throw lucky medals. So I'm going to quickly go over all the things that you can actually get throughout all the different rings of the lucky medal fountain. So the first one is that if you actually manage to land on the very center, you will always get, on your first attempt, a new summon. So let's quickly go over that, shall we? Eclipse, a dragon whose wings span the skies. It requires 3 Jupiter and 2 Mercury Gene. It has a base power of 300. It has an HP multiplier of 15%. After it is summoned, it provides a power boost of 60 Jupiter and 30 Mercury, and it may lower the target's attack by 25%. Alright, so yeah, that's at least one reason to at least try to get the center ring once. Now, of course, we have a bunch of other items which you shall be seeing on screen, and out of all of them we have 3 weapons, 2 of which have an unleash. So I'm going to quickly go over all 3 of them. The Hesia Blade has an attack boost of 145, its unleash is called Crucible Fire, it deals 48 extra Mars damage and it may lower a target's agility by 50%. The Mighty Axe has an attack boost of 142, its unleash is called Hit Smash, it deals 41 extra Mars damage and it may lower a target's resistance by 40. The Fireman's Pole has an attack boost of 130, and it can be used from your inventory to boost the entire party's resistance by 20 points. Alright, on to the other items. First off, we have the Aegis Shield. It has a defense boost of 41, and its side effect is that it boosts the unleash rate by 10%, so quite useful. Then we have the Erebus Armor. It has a defense boost of 43, and it provides a passive HP recovery of 6 every turn. The Floral Dress has a defense boost of 38, and it can be used from your inventory to inflict sleep on 3 targets, and since it is a dress, only female party members can actually wear it. The Minerva Helm has a defense boost of 43, and its side effect is that it boosts synergy by 20 points. The Crown of Glory has a defense boost of 40 and it provides a passive synergy recovery of 8 every turn. This pretty much makes it one of the best items to get out of the Lucky Spring, and that's one that I'm going to try to get off screen. Up next we have the Lera's Bracelet. It has a defense boost of 38 and it boosts Jupiter power by 30 points. The Brilliant Circlet has a defense boost of 36 and it boosts luck by 10 points. The Crafted Gloves have a defense boost of 35 and they boost attack by 5 points. And finally we have the Wild Coat, which has a defense boost of 37 and it boosts agility by 40 points. And you may also get, if you land on the outer rings, either a potion or Psy Crystal or Water of Life, or a few other items. So I managed to collect actually a bunch of lucky medals, and I'm not completely decided on all the items that I want. I do know that I want to get at least 4 Crowns of Glory. So I'm going to do that off screen, because otherwise that would take far too much time. But for now we're pretty much done with this section of Lemuria, so let's actually head back to the ship. But before we speak to Kraden and then set sail, we actually have one more reason to head back into the Lemurian ship, because if you recall, last time when we defeated the Aqua Hydra, it flooded a room full of water. And even though we have been sailing in the Lemurian ship, this is actually the very first time that we can actually access it as a dungeon. And right here, we can actually use Parch. However, be careful, because if you use Parch in any other spot other than this one, you will end up atop one of the boxes and you will be stuck, so you will be forced to use retreat in order to escape. But if we, right here from this position, we can finally get the chest, which contains a Mist Potion. So, fairly useful item. Alright, now we are completely done with the Lemurian ship. And for some reason, in order to have Kraden split from us and then head to that section of the ship, we actually have to leave and enter again. Alright. Felix, are we setting off now? Yes. Then, to sea we go. Pierce? Yes, Sheba, what is it? There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Something I have to ask you. Ask me, Sheba. You and I look roughly the same age, but how old are you really? Is that your question, Sheba? It's not important. It is to me. If you're much older than us, then I'm afraid we have not shown you the proper respect. She's got a point. Don't worry about such things, please. Treat me as you have all along. No, that will not do. You have to tell us. What? Come now, this is silly. No, Pierce, tell me. You're afraid you haven't shown me the proper respect, and yet you make demands of me? Come on, Pierce, you can tell us. How old are you really? It has nothing to do with respect. You just want to know how old I am, don't you? Oh ho ho ho. I knew it. Come on, Felix. Can't you get them off my back? ... You're in this too, aren't you, Felix? I had it with your conspiracies. I will not tell you. So that was actually quite a funny scene, and it's a neat touch every now and then to have those scenes between the party members. But that did lead us outside of Lemuria, even though there is actually one more section of Lemuria to explore. And also, now that we got the grind synergy, we can also do some exploration in the treasure isle. So I think we're going to do that next time before we head off for the Great Western Sea. So next time we'll finish up everything in Lemuria and head for Treasure Isle. See you guys